gonna work on the stick fence. I've been really inspired to make one of these stick fences. I've seen other people do it, mostly with willow trees, which I don't have any on my yard, but I do have a lot of dead sticks and a lot of sticks to clear from an area that I want to make prettier. Found another brick.
Cool. Makes sense.
One of my favorite things about this project is that it is pretty much free. As long as you have a shovel and some sticks, you can make something similar to this. A lot of people made them a little bit neater than I did, but I'm kind of the type that wants to just get something done and not worry about the perfectionism, because it just, I don't know, it gives me more instant gratification and it'll actually keep me focused on doing the project. So I have a lot of these dead sticks from my yard that I'm just using as the main posts. I try to use ones that are a little bit bigger around, a little bit more sturdy, and then for the ones that I will weave through later, I want them a little bit thinner and bendier. But some people use like the same type of tree and it makes it really look uniform. That's what I would recommend doing if you have enough sticks that match like the same type of tree. It would look really nice. But yeah, you just dig a hole somewhat deep. Maybe not a whole foot in the ground. You could go as deep as you want as long as you have long enough posts. Really depends on the size of fence you want. My ground is pretty rocky, so I had trouble digging too deep, and I'm also a little bit worried because I'm in town. We have pipes to worry about. So I didn't want to go too much, and I think it'll be okay because the sticks that you're weaving through it are also gonna just support the other sticks and kind of make it more sturdy. But to start out, you do need it somewhat sturdy so you can have a little bit of force while you're weaving through the other sticks. So you don't want it flimsy, but these little young maple saplings are mostly what I used because they're really bendy, but they also have a lot of sticks shooting out, little small branches, which is okay. I made do with them, but you may want to trim them off and make it a little bit more uniform. I also just kind of twisted them around themselves. It kind of made it look cool. They do pop out a little bit and it's kind of hard to get them to hold unless you maybe tie them down. I thought this made it a little bit easier to work with so the branches aren't catching on to where you're weaving it and getting stuck, because it just kind of takes more time to get it unstuck. And as you're weaving them through, you may have to adjust it a few times. See what will make the most tension and hold the sticks the best. I start from one side with some of the bigger branches that I have, or longer branches, and then I will eventually switch to the other side and do one at a time, flip-flopping, so that both sides of the fence are getting a good amount of strength. Just trying to make it as even as possible. So because I started on this side with the first one, the second stick that I'll be weaving, I'm going to go on the other end and weave the opposite way. I did the main bottom part of the stem towards the end of the fence, and then the thinner, bendier part towards the middle or the other side. It really depends on what you have on hand, what sticks you have, what size they are. It's pretty simple once you get going though, and then you just press them down and keep on adding layers. You could use dead sticks for this, but it's easier to use freshly cut live ones because they are more bendy. The dead sticks if they're long enough to go through maybe like 3 posts, that's about all I can get tension wise out of them. Because if I were to try to bend it anymore to go to any more posts, it would snap. In my experience, I did try a few of the dead ones because I have a lot of just brush piles and stuff that I need to clear up, so I thought I could use some of them. And depending on the type of stick you have, it might be sturdy enough to do it. But I would say if you have any young saplings, that is the best material for this type of fence. I have been super excited to build this because it is, I think, just going to add a little bit more fun to my front yard, make it feel a little bit less formal. Like, I want it to be a mix of formal and fun. So I was very motivated to get this done. There was chances of severe weather in the evening during this day, so I was trying to beat the rain, just trying to get it done as fast as I can to get that satisfaction of seeing a beautiful fence, but I didn't want to get rained on or anything. I'm very happy we didn't end up having any tornadoes or anything because there was a chance, but it turned out to be a pretty good day, pretty warm. I like working in the springtime outside because doing stuff like this in the summer would be really hot. Definitely possible, but everything would have leaves on it, and I think it's just a little bit easier to do this type of project in the spring. And Marvin's helping me, as you can see. If you have any vines, you can try to wrap them around the really sticky parts to contain them a little bit. This English ivy vine did a little bit of that. I didn't use a lot of it, and I stripped the leaves off, so hopefully it cannot grow, and I didn't put it anywhere near the dirt part of it. Tried to keep the vines off the ground so they won't sprout. I would like vining plants on this, but not English ivy. We have just recently got a Costco membership and bought these roses. It may be a little bit too early to plant, but I was really excited. I might just have to cover them up when it gets really cold, and I'm okay with trying to do that. I want them to get a good start. I also bought these, which I cannot plant yet, but I was excited to see the Ito peony, because normally those are expensive when I see them at the stores as full plants. And it was looking really cute with the grapevine balls. I was very excited. The gratification had been met, and then after a little spout of a rain shower, it was gorgeous. Look at all these little droplets. I thought it was kind of magical, and I can't wait to see like plants around it, roses growing through these. I need to make a few more grapevine balls, but oh my goodness, with some vegetables and flowers, kitty cats. It is a lot colder today. I have my sunglasses on because every once in a while the sun does peek out. Beautiful, even though it's colder. I just wanted to talk about some of my gardening plans after I made this beautiful. I really like it. I need more grapevine balls. They are a little bit treacherous to make, I would say. They scrape up my arms and it's hard to make them a perfect circle and to get them to hold, but I need to make a few more. And I want to show you around my garden and talk about my plans because I just want to make it a little bit nicer each year that I live here. I want to add more things, more flowers, more plants than yard space eventually. So let's see what I can maybe do and visualize a little bit. So this front yard is normally pretty shady because I have these huge black walnut trees. And black walnut trees also produce a toxin that kind of not all other plants can tolerate. Some can, like I have some irises around the bases of the trees, and the ditch lilies that we have all over the place here, around the statue and in that corner. They also can grow and bloom, but last year I had some peonies in this bed. I would like to make the road less, it's very loud, and I would like to have less sight of it, like maybe some like teepee trellises along the fence and maybe some like morning glories, but I don't know how much shade they can tolerate. It is pretty shady up here, but I would like something to block my sight of this road, and maybe I know it won't really help with too much of the noise, but I would like to have some protection of the noise. Mostly the sight though. I'd like a little bit more privacy, grow different flowers in here. I want to make more of these little stick borders. Like these ones are shorter than the big ones. And put them around this other tree and maybe around my lady as well. I do have some plants planted along my house, but maybe there's room for more. I have some rose bushes that I just planted. Hopefully not too early. I saw my other rose bushes that are here are starting to bud, so I thought it might be okay, but it is a little cold. I might make a little like frame to protect them when it gets too cold. But I'm thinking like a mix of veggies and flowers along this little fence that I made. I really like the grapevine balls. And then in my backyard, I've been slowly adding in plants. I think I want to do more of these stick fences, but I'm not exactly sure which pathways I want to follow and keep and where to add the beds. I have some vegetable gardens over here, um, but I want to mix in flowers and veggies all throughout my yard. The trouble is, most of my yard is shaded because I have a lot of trees, which is nice in the summer when it's really hot. But some of these flower too, like there's this crabapple, and those two trees over there are crab apples. Go work on the chicken coop a little bit more. We have this little addition to our shed that we were building this little thing for chickens. And I'm just very excited. Here's more of the grapevine balls I made last year. Some irises. You don't have to like get expensive things to garden and make garden decor. Like when I look at garden decor, I love statues and they are normally expensive. But these grapevine balls, I've been like looking at videos from other countries, I think like the Netherlands and stuff in Europe that make these, and it's so cute. So I decided to try it with some grapevines, and it works pretty well even though it hurts you a little bit. But that's my goal is I want to garden, I want to make my yard prettier with more flowers, more vegetables, and just more usable space, but on a budget because I have other things I need to spend my money on, like house repairs, and like all these bricks were here for free. Pots are normally pretty cheap at yard sales, and then the irises, I get a lot of irises for free because they divide or like they expand more quickly, they double. So people like to thin them out of their garden beds, and normally you can find some for free on Marketplace. This little stick bed gets a little bit of sun here. I'm going to cover the base with cardboard and then put some dirt and compost in it. And I think it could be a good spot for lettuce because lettuce doesn't need full sun. Um, but yeah, this was the first stick thing I made was this garden bed. It's not perfect, but it will work. It's just mainly so I have like a border to do things in. Doesn't need to be fancy. I'm excited. Um, I know it's looking a little rough right now, but I have big plans, so hopefully they go good this year, and I'll keep you guys updated as I'm doing stuff. I want to make more garden videos. I have a lot of fun out here, especially when it's warmer. It's cold today. But let me know if you enjoyed this type of video. Like, comment, and subscribe for more content like this. We also thrift a lot and do some crafty things. And if you want more garden crafts, I can try to do that too. Like these terracotta pots are just on a rebar, and it's kind of cool with some annual flowers. I mostly focus on perennials though, because they save me money. I don't have to buy them each year. Let me know if you have any suggestions on how to improve my stick beds. I know a lot of people use willow, which I don't have any willow. My yard is not the driest, but it's not wet, so willow doesn't. I did try to plant some willow last year and it didn't really take off. Maybe I'll try again in a different spot of my yard. But if you have any tips and tricks that would make it easier, better, I thought it was pretty easy, but um, it definitely looks messier than I've seen some people. I wonder if they just removed more of the sticky parts. But I thought the sticky parts added some more privacy, and I didn't really have unsticky sticks. If that makes any sense. But yeah, I'd love to hear suggestions if you've made some in the past. I'd love to hear about your experiences, tips and tricks for gardening, because I'm still very much learning. Thank you guys, and have a wonderful day.